And as a look at the Premier League table shows,
yeah, and Spurs will want to respond to the disappointment of dropping points at Newcastle last week. And Manchester United will hope to continue their form from their Europa League quarter-final first leg on Thursday. Let's get some managerial thoughts ahead of this one.
We are not far from each other, so I think it's going to be a difficult match for both. If Solskjaer is going to use, but I don't know, maybe Solskjaer thinks in a different way. I don't know. If it was the opposite, if it was my team losing 6-1 against them, I would just say to my guys, it happened once, it's not going to happen twice. This is not, doesn't reflect the reality. The game is going to be tight and we can win. But I don't know, maybe Solskjaer thinks in a different way.
The manner we lost is not ourselves and our team worthy. Difficult game by having 10 men. Pre-season was short and we weren't up to the standard required, but we were so poor, and I'm pretty sure that we'll see some players wanting to prove that we're better than that.
Well, what a game this should be. Tottenham against Manchester United, and Tottenham just 3 points off the top four. They could potentially be in the Champions League places if other results go their way, Anton. How big a game does it make it for Spurs?
Yeah, it's a massive game for Spurs. As we saw that they won the league in January, didn't they? From the reaction of their fans. But it's a massive game for them now, just to try and get into the top four, or the top six, I would say. And it's a game that they're going to need to win.
Yeah, Manchester United look like they're pretty much all but Champions League football next season, in second in the table, Miguel. But as Anton says, for Tottenham, for them, what will their aims be? Do they want the Champions League football? Are they going to go on and try and win other competitions? What do you think their focus will be? What is that down to? Is that, Anton, is that a concentration thing, or what is it?
Especially when it's in the last stage of the game, a lot of it could be game management, which Jose is normally really good at. He drills his team to be able to deal with that type of stuff. But it is concentration. As a defender, you have to be on ball at all times, and when you're leading by one goal, anything's possible in the Premier League, that's for sure, as we've seen with them. So it is about concentration, but it's also about game management.
So many of those are aerial as well, aren't they? Exactly,
and he would be kicking himself. But I don't know about you, Rob. What do you think about the way his comments on the team? Me as a player, don't know if he was the same. It's not that you would mind him saying it out there, but it's also about game management.
So many of those are aerial as well, aren't they?
Exactly, and he would be kicking himself. But I don't know about you, Rob. What do you think about the way his comments on the team? Me as a player, don't know if he was the same. It's not that you would mind him saying it out there, but when a manager says something, whether it be in a public or whether it be in the dressing room, did it not fire you up to go, I'm going to prove him wrong?
Mourinho And Ole said to me live on it was on Match of the Day. We played Liverpool. We drew 2-2. Muzzy, is it? Scored 2 goals. And he was getting interviewed on the TV afterwards, and he said John Watson was the...
...in it out there, but when a manager says something, whether it be in a public or whether it be in the dressing room, did it not fire you up to go, I'm going to prove him wrong?
Mourinho And Ole said to me live on it was on Match of the Day. We played Liverpool. We drew 2-2. Muzzy, is it? Scored 2 goals. And he was getting interviewed on the TV afterwards, and he said John Watson was the interviewer, and he said 2-2 against Liverpool, great result. But the boy Savage you got from Crewe was outstanding. And Martin said, yeah, he was. He just lacks one thing, John. And John Watson said, what's that? And he said, ability. That was live. That was on Match of the Day, and I was listening to that. But I went on the Monday, and that spurred me on. That gave me fuel to my fire to think I'm going to keep proving you wrong. And Martin And Ole had a great way with individuals and the collective to get the best out of
who won't like that approach, will they, Miguel?
Well, that's it. I mean, from like listening to you there, it almost feels like context is important too, because of how you knew O'Neill. Where it just feels like with Mourinho lately, all we're seeing is basically stick rather than carrot. And that's what struck about, say, the comments last week, where he's not just criticising bad performances or mistakes.
Same coach, different players, was it?
Yeah,
That
it's almost
was the
like
line,
and then this would have been with a few things. He's not just questioning kind of drop-offs. He's questioning either their character or their outright ability. Like he had some comment about how there are problems I can't fix, as if well, the team isn't good. And let's not forget, this is a team. He partly got the job because he was telling Daniel Levy, that the squad was good enough to win the league. So it's been. And given the promise, I suppose, from early season and where they were in November and December, as Anton said, it's been some drop-off. And now it just feels like he has to arrest that. But maybe exactly the wrong fixture at the wrong time, given what happened earlier in the year.
6-1.
And also how stable United look now.
Yeah, well, we talked earlier about the Liverpool-Aston Villa game and revenge in that one. How much will that come into things with this as well because of that?
Time, given what happened earlier in the year.
6-1.
And also how stable United look now.
Yeah, well, we talked earlier about the Liverpool-Aston Villa game and revenge in that one. How much will that come into things with this as well because of that 6-1 defeat?
Yeah, it will play a part, as I said, when talking about Aston Villa and Liverpool. It'll put fire in your belly to go and win the game, 100%. But if
to challenge Man City, if they are to win the league next season, do they need a centre-half? Even though we see in the previous graphic that they've got the third best defensive, were all over the place. Look at the position there of the Man United captain. They were, as a collective, they were terrible. But to go on one further, Man United to challenge Man City, if they are to win the league next season, do they need a centre-half? Even though we see in the previous graphic that they've got the third best defence in Europe, joint with PSG, do they need a centre-half?
Yeah, definitely. They're not winning the league with that centre-half pairing. Regardless, that's my opinion, regardless of
PSG, do they need a centre-half?
Yeah, definitely. They're not winning the league with that centre-half pairing. Regardless, that's my opinion, regardless of the stats that have come out. We was talking about it earlier. When we used to go to Old Trafford, just to get half a chance, you were buzzing to get half a chance. Whereas nowadays, you're seeing the likes of Dieng at West Brom bullying defenders at Man United. You're not used to seeing that, and I think to go and win something and go and actually put a charge towards the Premier League, they're going to need to buy another centre-back.
How do they get over being a semi-final team? 4 semi-finals with Ole. Looks like it's going to be a 5th because they're 2-0 up against Granada, got the home game to come. How do they go from a semi-final team to a winning team?
That's been a bit of a weird thing with Solskjaer's time in general, isn't it? That there's always the suggestion about to go on to something better, and they never quite manage it. I mean, maybe the Europa League will have the right draw and get through.
But they've got Ajax or Roma, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, of course, yeah. Which is pretty difficult, to be fair. Yeah. I mean, that's what it could come now. That could be the acid test for them in that way. Yeah. But I mean, they've been a bit like kind of this Tottenham team as well, in that they just never quite make the breakthrough from a good run. And that's been one of the frustrations of the season as well, especially given that they were top in January as well. Yeah. I mean, to be fair to Solskjaer, he's always put these streaks together. And I was just thinking, looking at that stat, does that mean an absolute banker for this Sunday is Spurs to go ahead and United to come behind?
Probably.
Who's going to be in goal? That's the big. Who is going to be in goal?
I think it's going to be Henderson.
Henderson.
Do you think he's number one now?
I don't think Solskjaer would outright say it, but it feels like it's going to go in that direction. And I do wonder as well, because I have heard that, not that they want to sell the guy, but they could be open to the right offer in the summer, and that there's a bit of a market there.
Do you think that's the right decision, Robbie, to play Henderson ahead of him?
Well, what's Henderson done wrong when he's had his opportunity? I think it's 6 games. Hasn't been outstanding. Maybe there's one mistake against AC Milan when he should have saved it, but he's not done anything wrong, really.
Did you not think last weekend, actually, Brighton kept targeting him from set pieces?
Dropped a couple, didn't they?
I noticed that.
Yeah, did you? Well done, Jill. What was the score?
Yes, thank you, Robbie. We lost the game. But so you both think that Henderson is going to play this?
And that there's a bit of a market there.
Do you think that's the right decision, Robbie, to play Henderson ahead of him?
Well, what's Henderson done wrong when he's had his opportunity? I think it's 6 games. Hasn't been outstanding. Maybe there's one mistake against AC Milan when he should have saved it, but he's not done anything wrong, really.
Did you not think last weekend, actually, Brighton kept targeting him from set pieces?
Dropped a couple, didn't they?
I noticed that.
Yeah, did you? Well done, Jill. What was the score?
Yes, thank you, Robbie. We lost the game. But so you both think that Henderson is going to play this weekend?
Yeah, I think he should do. I think, as Robbie said, what's he done not to play?
Yeah.
If he leaves him out now, if you're Henderson, that's the bigger decision. You left Henderson out now, because if Henderson plays from now to the end of the season in the Premier League team, you would suggest he'd be number one.
Yeah.
And if he plays well, got a chance of starting for England.
To be fair to Solskjaer, he's been quite good in those decisions, because I mean, there's actually, like, this is a bit of a test for him as well, because even the kind of political point of say, like, look at De Gea's wages and the stature of the club. To leave him on the bench now in this situation is would be quite a brave call from Solskjaer, but it feels like it's one he's going to make.
All right, 6-1 in the reverse fixture. What's it going to be this time round, Miguel?
2-1 United.
I'm going to go 2-1 United and all.
Okay.
Spurs to take the lead.
Yeah.
Robbie, we'll see your predictions a little bit later on in the show. Right, coming up, there's another big game in terms of the fight for the top four. It's West Ham taking on Leicester this weekend.